Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna.
Hey, they have not started introduction. You call them, tell them, it's not waste time. Straight away. You have the Dinanath Gopal Prabhu number you have? Just call and tell him.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Start.
Hare Krishna. So I'm very happy to welcome all of you, all the different devotee students from different colleges from all over India for our Utkarsha Online 2021. So as all of you know, Utkarsha is a national youth festival, which is a confluence of many students from different eminent colleges from all over India. So my name is Apurva Stogi. I am an alumnus of IIT BHU Varanasi. Currently, I am working in VMware Softwares India Limited, Bangalore, and I will be your host for this Utkarsha festival. So there are a few general guidelines. So you all can keep your mics muted. You can try to avoid distractions around yourself, and while logging in, you can enter your UO code before your name. For example, let us say your UO code is XYZ. So you have to write your name as XYZ Anand Sharma. So for UO code, this UO 2021 code, you can refer to the Excel sheet which has been sent on your Telegram groups. And while His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu is giving his lecture, so that time if you get any questions, so you can type your question in the chat box, but please make sure that you send your questions to Utkarsha 21 QA co-host only. Questions which are sent to any other host or co-host may not be considered for answering. So you all can keep this in mind. So at this point of time, I would request the other host to kindly play the video of His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu's introduction.
Yeah.
May I request the host to kindly begin the video?
Introduction of Radheshyam Das. Radheshyam Das is an IIT Mumbai topper, is president of ISKCON Pune for last 26 years and leading a community of more than 6,000 members. He is compiler of many youth books like Stress to Smile, 5 volumes of Essence of Bhagavad Gita, etc. Designer of Discover Yourself International course with 6 sessions for youth and corporates. He is a Global Excellence Award winner for educating youths in Bhagavad Gita, recipient of Jiva Goswami Award for Innovative Youth Outreach, Global Duty Officer of ISKCON for Youth Outreach visiting Boston and many places in USA. Has been a youth trainer since last 25 years and has been training the youths in IITs, NITs and reaches out to Pune, Kolkata, Kanpur, Mumbai, Thane, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Dharwad, Belgaum, Mysore and many other places. He has presented seminars at MIT Boston, Stanford University, University of Washington, Cornell University and others. Has been a leading corporate presenter at Amazon, Bank of America, Infosys, Dutch Bank and Cognizant and Persistent. So we are very happy to have amongst us Radheshyam Das.
Hare Krishna. So on a personal note, I remember like around 7 or 8 years back in 2014. So just like all of you, I also had received this opportunity to hear from His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu and get Prabhuji's wonderful association in Pune. So that time we didn't have COVID, so we had this offline gathering, and I can very honestly tell that it was a life-changing experience for myself and many of my friends. And I have been witnessing this phenomena with many of my juniors also. So Prabhuji has actually helped and transformed the lives of lakhs and lakhs of students like all of us. So we all have this wonderful opportunity to hear from Prabhuji. We all can make sure that we can remain at most attentive and take wonderful advantage of Prabhuji's association. So over to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvannmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all of you. We will begin with our prayer Mahamantra, a few minutes, and then we will proceed further. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everybody together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda, Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Kalyuga Pavan Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Anta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Welcome all of you. So all of you students from different parts of India have come together, and I especially thank the devotees of ISKCON Kanpur and ISKCON Varanasi for putting up this beautiful program. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, out of thousands of people in this world, one of them may inquire about, what is the goal of life? Who is God? Why this world is created? Is this world running without any rhyme or reason? 1 out of 1,000 people, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. And amongst them, he says, thousands of such men who inquire about God, one of them comes to attain perfection in understanding God, understanding Krishna, and then surrendering to him and becoming his devotee. Which means in every college, if you have 4,000 students, you should have only 4 devotees. But we have more number than that. So you all are like chosen ones. You have actually had the inquisitiveness. You came for the 6-session course and then subsequently Sankalp camp and Spurti camp festivals. And now you have come for the Utkarsh festival. I congratulate you. In this world, it is not very easy for one to have this type of spiritual inclination, which comes in a human body after millions of lifetimes. And therefore, Sripad Shankaracharya once said, 3 things are very, very rare in this world, he said. One is, he said, Manushyatvam. To have a human body is very rare. To have a tree's body, plant's body, cat's body, dog's body is very easy. To have a human body is very, very rare. But in human body, he said, to have a thirst for, crossing over this material world and going back to Godhead. That desire is very rare. Because everywhere you see human beings. Some are civilized, some are uncivilized, some are wearing coat, suit, boot, tie, everything. Some are living in like tribals. But amongst the civilized and uncivilized, strong and weak, educated, uneducated, rich and poor, amongst them, if you see, very few people have the thirst for going back to the original place from where we have come here in this world. Going back to spiritual world. Very few have that desire. He said, that's very rare, he said. And even if you have that desire, thirdly, he said, what is very rare is to get a guru who can actually give you the compass in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. If you are stuck in a boat how will you reach the shores without a compass? So the compass are the scriptures. One who teaches you the scriptures actually gives you a compass by which you can reach the shores very safely. And you will be, imagine in your boat, there is only food for only 3 days. And you have to reach the shore within 3 days. Otherwise, you will die in the middle of the ocean. Similarly, the material world is a very dangerous place. So you have to reach the shores of the spiritual world very soon. So one who gets a guru who can guide him to go back to Godhead is very rare, he said. So you all already have a human body, and you have developed a taste for spiritual knowledge, which is actually a great bhagya or good fortune for you. Thirdly, you have been having mentors guiding you, escorting you in the spiritual life, and they themselves have been following faithfully in their lives, and they are also guiding you. They're taking us out of darkness and taking us towards light. It's like taking us from a world of suffering to the world of immortality and happiness, taking us from the world which is temporary to the world which is eternal, everlasting, where there is no old age, disease, death. Such a beautiful world. So along with your academic studies in the college to earn a degree, you are also smartly paving way for your bright spiritual future, which is actually very, very rare. Therefore, I congratulate every one of you who has joined this camp. But let me tell you one thing. The spiritual goal is only attained by a person who is very determined, like Dhruva Maharaj. The word Dhruva means determined. You should be determined. You know, in Ulysses, there is a poem which says, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. He says, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Which means, you know, you don't think that, oh, how can I chant now? I have to work for, the examinations, or I have to get placed in a job, or I have this, I have that. We should not foolishly give up the spiritual practices in the name of worldly responsibilities, because the worldly responsibilities will always be there. In this world, it's a very challenging material world. And we have to rise above this world once and for all, never to return back here again. And for that, we should be very sincere. Like, for example, just because you are very busy, it's not that you won't brush your teeth, you won't take your bath, you won't eat your food. We take our time for all these things. Like if somebody has to clear his belly, he says, no, today I have exam, today I won't clear the belly. Will you say that? You have to clear the belly, you have to take a bath, you have to brush the teeth, you have to take your food, everything you do. In the same manner, spirituality comes in the same. If you don't brush your teeth, our mouth is stinking. If you don't chant the holy names, then our mind will be stinking. And people around us will say, hey, you are creating trouble to us because you are not chanting and cleansing the heart. So therefore, in the path of spiritual life, we need determination, like Dhruva had determination to meet the Lord face to face in the forest. So we don't have to go to forest. This knowledge is given to you in your own colleges, and many mentors are in touch with you. I am very grateful to them. And they are practicing themselves, and they have many, many responsibilities. Along with that, they are also extending their services to you. And now wherever you are, next to the 3-4 years, you will be in your college. Take advantage of this. Then you may go all over the world. Wherever you may go, you distribute the same knowledge to others as you have received it. Because, if we are receiving something, we should also give others also. Whatever gifts we have received, we have to share with others. So today we are beginning the first session called the Password for Happiness. This is one thing that the whole world is looking for, which is happiness. Why do people go for a job? To make money. Money is honey. Why money is honey? Because with money, you can purchase varieties of happiness. You can go to a hotel and eat very nice foods in a hotel. So you can purchase that. Or if you have a very good salary, then a man will come forward to give his daughter in marriage to you. So money can get you a good spouse also. Or you can purchase a house, you can purchase a car. You can have a lot of freedom if you have money. You can just be saying, throw peanuts and get monkeys, you say. Similarly, with money, you can get many things done in this world. So therefore, people think that I will get money because money is equal to happiness, people think. But when Srila Prabhupada went to America, he told the people, why is it in your country, which is first world country, You guys have so much dollar notes in your pocket, but your boys are going to the big sky-rise towers and jumping off from there and committing suicide. Why money is not giving you happiness? Yeah, you have broad roads and tall towers and fine cars. You have fat salaries. What is not there in your life? All materially you are affluent, but you're not happy. So which clearly shows that money alone cannot purchase happiness. You can purchase costly dress, but the costly dress doesn't give us beauty. We can have the best of the books to study for the exam, but the books will not give us brains, isn't it? In the same manner, you can have the costliest of the medicines and best of the doctors, but that cannot assure us perfect health and saving us from COVID. There are youngsters who died in COVID also, even after meeting the best of the doctors and the costliest of the medicines and the rarest of the hospitals. You will see that. So in this way, in this world, although people are hankering for happiness, happiness seems to be escaping. So let me show you the notes now. This is the booklet we are going to use now, Passport for Happiness. So here in the middle of this, we have shown here how people are eating a lot to become happy, like this fat man. Similarly, this fellow is angry and stressed. And this fellow is working late night. You can see the moon is in the sky. He's working very hard. Why do people work hard? Ultimately to make money, to become happy. Everybody's struggling for happiness. And all these electronic gadgets are there with man now. And it's making life more miserable for man. And the happiness is escaping. So therefore, I was telling you, there is entertainment, but the people that don't have peace of mind. They have comfort, but they have no happiness. People are comfortably miserable. The modern times. Yeah, people have cosmetics, but they can't bring back their youth. Yeah. So the people can have ventilator, but the ventilator cannot produce life. It can extend life by a few days or weeks, but a man cannot even talk when you put a ventilator in his mouth. So in this way, then where is the real happiness? Yeah, one of you can read it, please. Why can't we experience continuous happiness at every moment? Yeah, please. Yeah.
One thing that we all are looking for in life is happiness. We go to school to get a degree, get a job, earn money, and buy happiness with that. We marry to become happy. We play to become happy. We eat to become happy. We don't do anything unless we can get some happiness out of it. Still, if we observe our lives carefully, our happiness is thwarted at every moment by some impediment that supplies us suffering instead of happiness. This may put us to shock and pain. Most people try to work around sufferings, still desperately looking for and hoping for happiness. Different people respond differently when sufferings come in life.
Yeah. If you ask all of you, how much happiness you want in your life? You want this much? Or you want this much? You will say, I want this much. You want unlimited happiness. In Sanskrit, it is called as Atyantika Sukha Pravritti. Sukha Pravritti means all of us as Jivatmas, we have a propensity of pleasure seeking. Anything you do in this world, you are seeking pleasure in that. And the reason is mentioned in Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra says that Atma is always happy. Like God is happy, Atma is happy. You see Lord Krishna, when he's dancing on Kaliya Naga in the Vrindavan, Yamuna, he's smiling. Although he's dancing on hundreds of hooded snake, he's jumping from one hood to another hood, he's jumping and he's smiling also. Yeah, when he's lifting the Govardhan hill, he's smiling. When he's in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it is a Prahasanniva Bharata. There also he is smiling. So while killing demons, he's smiling. On the top of Kaliya, he's smiling. Lifting Govardhan, he's smiling. Why he is smiling? Because nobody can kill him. Nobody can favor him. Nobody can harm him. He's God. And he is supremely powerful. And he's always happy. God is not only happy himself, he wants to actually spread happiness to others also. You want to share. Just like my father, when I was a small kid, he would bring this fruit, mixture fruit juice from the market, and it will have all kinds of different, multiple fruits, and with the custard and everything in that, very nicely. So he'll bring it home. So in a big jar, he'll bring. what do you think he will do? He will come home and he'll drink it all himself. Will he do that? Naturally, what he will do? He will call his wife and all of us children. He will share with everybody. You also take a glass, you take a glass, you take a glass. We all will drink. Sometimes if you like it, he will give us so much, more. So just as a father likes to share the joy of, feeding the wife and children, similarly, God also, with all of us jivas who are his children, he shares the happiness eternally. So God is cheerful and we are also cheerful. Why we are cheerful? Because we are his part and parcels. For example, imagine if a man and woman, husband, wife, they are very, very, husband is handsome and wife is also very beautiful. Then naturally you can expect that the child is also good looking. Correct, no? You can see that. In the same manner, Radha and Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, they are the supreme God, God and Goddess, Bhagavan and Bhagavati. They are supremely beautiful. So all of us as jivas, we are also beautiful, minutely beautiful. And he is supremely oceanic happiness. Yes, we also have minute happiness. The jiva is very, very happy in the spiritual world. And he has no worries or no fears being with them. But therefore it is said, Atyantika Sukha Pravritti. Because originally we are happy. And same happiness we are looking here in this world. But we are not able to. Because in spiritual world, you get the real mango. In the material world, you get reflection mango. When you dive into the water, you see the mango, but you can't catch it. Similarly, in this world, the happiness is escaping us. We are not able to capture it. We see it, hey, it's here, it's here. The happiness is in woman. The happiness is in drinks. Happiness is in smoking. People think the happiness is in balloon, playing with balloon or toys. Like when I was a small kid, I asked my mother, oh, mom, you look at that big apple balloon. I don't know how many of you have seen. You get apple balloon here also? Big apple balloons. My mother said, hey, what will you do with this balloon? It'll part. It'll just, it'll burst and get waste. Instead of that, she purchased the apple from a Hathgadi, one man, and she gave me, please eat this apple. I threw away the apple. I said, I don't want this apple, eating apple. I want that balloon apple. Anyway, I was so adamant, she gave me one. Before we reached home, it bursted on the way only. It was finished. Although it was looking very attractive, this much big. The original apple was this much, this was this much, but I couldn't enjoy that. So you see, many of us in this world, we think something will give us happiness, but the happiness always escapes us in this world. Because the real apple will give you happiness. I mean, when you eat it, you get nourishment. But unfortunately, I'm attracted to which apple? Eating apple or balloon apple? Balloon apple. That's my problem. Similarly, in the spiritual world, we were happy, but we have turned away and come here. And in this world, we are chasing after objects which are like the balloon apple that can never give happiness. You all have seen this, soap solution we used to make. Take one, this, what do you call that? Papaya tube will be there, no? Papaya plant tube. You take the tube from there and then put it. When you blow like this, many bubbles will come. Sometimes you get as big as a football. That much like boom, 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 it'll go, pluck, it'll go off. But that football type soap bubble looks very attractive, colorful, multiple color, Webgear, all the 7 colors you will see. Looks very charming, but pluck, it goes off. Similarly, the Shastras say that in this world, like, when you're a small kid, you're attracted to grandfather, grandmother. They seem to be showering so much love. Suddenly you find they get old and they pluck, they are finished. Grandmother, pluck. Similarly, everybody else, kaka, mama, mata, pita, myself, everybody's body will be plucked like the bubble only. In this world, whatever things you are attracted to, they all exist for some time and they are gone after that. These are temporary objects. Although while they are existing, they look very attractive in this world. So that is called Maya, we call it. So the bubble which comes, which looks attractive, it's Maya only. Why? Because it looks like actual football. Can you play with it? You put your hand into that, it will burst. That's all. So the Maya in this world is attractive. Krishna in the spiritual world is attractive, but there is a big difference. Krishna attracts and gives you ananda, happiness. Maya will attract and give us punch on the nose. That's what we get in this world. We think something will give us happiness. We get suffering in this world. So we want this much ananda, but how much suffering you want? If I ask you, people say 0. I don't want anything. It's called Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti. From Dukkha you want Nivritti, from Sukha you want Pravritti. Atyantika means unlimited. You want 0 suffering and unlimited happiness, but we get the opposite in this world. all our happiness is dried up and a lot of sufferings come. So then we wonder why I can't experience continuous happiness in this world. That's what we are researching now. So there are different people who give different reasons for this. See here. Some people ask, who said I am suffering? Like that some people ask. You see, in my college days, whenever the exam results would come, they would have the students going to the neighborhood of the college. There'll be a liquor shop. Somebody got fail marks, so he'll go and drink liquor, and he'll be lying on the road. And somebody got first class or first distinction, they will also go and drink. Because somebody wants to celebrate the good marks, somebody wants to forget the fail marks. But both fellows go to drink like that, you see. So one day when the results came, I came out of the college. I saw one of my friends. He had fallen into the gutter. He had actually half the body was in the gutter, other half was outside, and he was screaming, catching his liver. It was pain. He had drunk too much liquor. He was feeling pain. I dragged him out of the gutter and I threw some water on the sides. I caught some water in a tap. And then I asked him, why are you suffering like this? Foolishly, you should not have drunk. He was catching it. He said, who said I am suffering? I am not suffering. He was telling. You understand? See, he is asking who said I am suffering, but he's also crying. He's crying, but he's not admitting he's suffering. Can any of you say why he's doing like that? Any of you? Yes? You understood what I'm saying? Acha, they will be allowed to speak, or they need somebody to unmute them? Any of them can unmute and speak? Is it allowed or not? Not allowed, eh? They can put in chat otherwise. You can type in chat. Why do you think he is saying? Due to ignorance, okay? Due to mode of ignorance. Very good, that's also correct. He's in Nasha, correct. He's in Nasha, but his ego is not in Nasha. Still he's, understand. False ego, yeah. Yes, false ego is saying, who said I am suffering? It's fine. So some people, if you tell them that, hey, in this world, old age is there, disease is there, death is there, they say, what is the problem? It's a part of life. Just, everybody, has suffered in this world. You just accept it. I don't worry about it. It just comes my way, that's all. Who said I am suffering? Actually, when Srila Prabhupada saw an old man in the hospital, there were tubes in the nose, tubes in the ears, tube in the mouth, and like the old man, 85-year-old man lying in the bed. Prabhupada said that 3-4 of his friends came to meet that man. And they asked him, hey, kaisa tumhara tabiyat, how are you? The man said, oh, I'm very fine, he said. And Prabhupada was laughing. You say you are fine? If this is the way you are fine, with all tubes in your nose and ears and everything, this is the way the jiva out of false ego claims, I'm not suffering. In South India, if Malyuddha they do, you know that? If one Pahlavan catches other fellow's neck and puts him on the ground flatly, his mustache will be full of sand. And then when he comes up, this fellow will ask him, do you agree I defeated you? He'll say, no, not yet. He will say, still not yet. Simply because of ego. So people don't admit they are suffering. It's a fact. Is there any of you here, you want old age in your life? Do you really want to get older? You really want to get any diseases? You really want any fail marks in any examination? None of us want any of this. But to get what you don't want is called suffering. And to not get what you want, that is also suffering. That's a definition of misery. Misery means to get what you don't want. That, for example, mosquito bite you don't want, but you get it in the night, isn't it? Dogs barking in the night, middle of the night, you don't want, but you hear the dogs barking. To get what you don't want, and to not get what you want. You want to get distinction, and we get fail in the paper. That's like to get what we don't want, isn't it? So, not get one. So, in this way, there's people saying, who said I'm suffering? That is utter foolishness and ignorance. Then some other people are saying, what are they saying? We have to learn to live with this menace. What to do? They say like that. Actually, you see, if you have any problem, you have to solve it. Like, for example, if you get fever, you should go to a doctor and get cured. If you are thirsty, you should drink water. If you're hungry, you should eat food. Isn't it? If you are having this thing, COVID or something, then you take those medicines, tablets, whatever is supposed to be taken. Nobody will say that, okay, we have to learn to just live with this. No, you don't say that. You all actually try to make a solution to the problems. Similarly, when sufferings come in our life, you say that you have to learn to live with this. Why? Because we don't know the solution. So that, and in fact, some people even more foolishly argue. They say, how can life be truly happy if it is not mixed with some sorrow also? Let's learn to love sorrow. Like that, some people say. See, what is it like? Do you think sorrow is necessary in order for your life to be balanced? Like some boys, in fact, agreed. They said, yes, Swamiji, correct. Only sukh, it will become boring. So you want sukh dukh, man apaman. Dono rehne chahiye jeevan mein. We need both, they were saying. All of you ask yourself, do you really need sorrow to feel happiness? Say, for example, in the first year, you were a 7-pointer. In the second year, you became 7.5. And third year when you went, you became 8.5. So will you say the fourth year, hey, what is this? My grade is going on increasing from 7 to 8.5. Now, at least in fourth grade, I want to go back to 6 or something. Will you say like that? Many of you? Because will you get bored with more and more grades, better grades? Even if you become a 10-pointer, you will always want to remain in 10. That is the human nature you will see. We don't want suffering. Imagine if somebody has an Indian gas shop. First year he made 1 lakh. Second year he made 2 lakh. Third year he made 3 lakhs. Will he be bored with the profits? Will he pray to God and say, what is this, God? Every year you give one more lakh. I'm a little bored with this. Give some fire accident in my shop so that instead of 4 lakhs this year, I'll get only 50,000. Will he ever say like that? Only a fool will think like that. Everybody wants increasing happiness. Nobody wants suffering. But why this fellow is saying like this, let's learn to love sorrow. This is the logic of the fox who could not capture the grapes. One fox in the forest saw a grapes vine and he tried to jump up and down. And there were other foxes hiding behind the tree. They were laughing like this. And this fox got ego problem. He said, I don't want these grapes, he said. Other fox asked, why you don't want? He said, oh, these grapes are sour, so I have decided not to take it, he said. You actually know, do you think the grapes are really sour? Why he said the grapes are sour? Because he could not jump high enough to get it. Others would ridicule. So he said, I have decided to reject it. He didn't reject it, but he couldn't catch it. Similarly, people who say that, you see, I love sorrow in my life. Why you love sorrow? Because you can't escape it. You really don't know the method of escaping sorrow, escaping sufferings in this world. So these people are all fooling themselves. We don't want to follow such foolish people who give justification for the sorrow. Neither do they have a solution. Like, you go to your scientist and say, sir, I have a white hair, what to do? He said, put some hair dye. He says, sir, I have wrinkles in my body, put some facelift. Sir, my teeth are falling out. We will put nowadays they have plastic tooth set, Entire tooth people are wearing nowadays. All the tooth up and down, they can be wearing plastic tooth set like that. So in this way, you can make some temporary stopgap solutions to this dying material body. But nobody likes to die. Nobody likes to get old. Everybody wants to be young, hale and healthy, but people are suffering. So therefore, we want to find out what is the suffering all about? Where is it coming from? How can you put a full stop to the suffering and lead a happy life forever? Which is what we all want. Can anybody deny this fact? If you are given a life where you can live happily forever, there is not even a small pinch of suffering. There is happiness forever. Who will not want to live such a life? If somebody can read this one below, a creator of any commodity.
A creator of any commodity has the best knowledge about his product. Similarly, Lord Sri Krishna is accepted by all authoritative sources to be the supreme personality of Godhead and as the source of everything, including material world. Who can give us better information about the world we are living in than him? He labels this world as Dukkhalayam, which means abode of miseries, just as we call Himalaya abode of snow. Sometimes we find a board, beware of dogs, or trespassers will be persecuted. Anyone who ignores such warnings should be prepared to face dangerous consequences. Thus, one who is serious about life's goal should take note of the Lord's teachings in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. So, let's just like Pustakalaya means full of books. Himalaya means full of snow. Similarly, Dukhalaya means full of miseries. You know, one A gives misery to B, B gives misery to A in this world. People trouble each other, isn't it? So that is the way this world is. Huh? In the material world, we find like that. In material world, there is a cutthroat competition. Huh? You all studied about it in the Spurti festival before. Huh? Like a tiger is trying to eat a deer. Huh? A frog is trying to eat a fly. And the eagle is trying to eat a frog. And the eagle is shot by a hunter, isn't it? So in this world, everybody is troubling one another in this world. Even business people, one businessman is troubling another businessman. And students are also troubling. One student is trying to take away your job and run away. In the interview, when you go, there's a competition. So this world is full of competitive material world we find here, and people are struggling to survive in this world. So now some of you may say, sir, my death, is going to come very far away. I am a young boy. My birth is already over. And old age also doesn't seem to be any near. I am 20, not even 20, 25, whatever you may say. And death may be in 75 or 80. Why should I bother about death? Why should I bother about old age? I'm not old now. I'm a young man. You tell me something what a young man should be doing happily in life. Why should I bother about these miseries? Therefore, real intelligence means to see from womb to tomb, there is suffering. For example, in my village, when I was born in a village, up to the age of 6, nobody will go to school. Nowadays, they put the children in school at the age of 2.5, pre-nursery or something. When we were in village, nobody will go to school till 5 or 6. So we were always thinking we will sleep in the lap of the mother, just play with our friends, and we were very jolly like that. But one day, suddenly, my mother, after bathing, she put me in a white and blue uniform, and she put socks and shoe, and then she prepared me, taking me with some box, one aluminum box, and she gave me this. I asked, where are you going? She said, today is a very special day for you. So and she handed me over to the khaki conductor. I saw, who is that man with the big mustache? And she gave me it to him. And that fellow picked me and put me inside the bus and closed the door. And I asked, where is my mother? And mother is smiling and saying, ta, 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 better go to school. And I was crying throughout the bus journey. I was still beating that conductor also. He said, hey, keep quiet. He was telling, very frightening man. All day I was weeping in the school for the mother. Teachers pacified me and told, don't worry, you will see the mother in the evening. Evening, when the same bus brought me back, mother was standing at the bus stop smiling. I was very happy to see her. She picked me up and I told all the story in the school, what all happened and everything. I thought going to school means once in a lifetime experience. You have to go one day in your entire life. That's all I thought. And next day morning also, she prepared me with the uniform. Moment she put uniform and shoes, I thought, are you going to give me to that man? She said, no, beta, we are going to park. Just, have some air. We will just sit in the park for a while and come with me to park. She took me to so-called park. Where was that? Bus stop only. Again, she handed me over to the same conductor again. You see, the child doesn't want to be separated from the mother, but child is forcibly separated. You'll see that. The same manner you will see at any phase of life as we grow. Nowadays, children start studying for IIT JEE in 6th standard nowadays. Parents are telling the boys, somehow get into IIT better. You don't have to worry about career and future. Get into NIT or IIT. If you can't get into IIT, NIT, at least some engineering college or medical college, something. Some parents tell the children, see, your mother is doctor, father is doctor, grandfather, grandmother are doctors, uncle, aunt are doctors, your sister, brother are doctors. So you have to become doctor. The boy may say, but I'm not interested. No, you have to become doctor. So sometimes the parents push the children. So in the 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard board exam is coming. Who are in tension? Parents are in tension or son is in tension? Both are in tension. Both are in tension. Son is in tension that parents are expecting too high from me. I don't know whether I can make it. And the parents are in tension. Mera beta ka kya hoga? This world is full of tension. That's what's called Kunta. Spiritual world is called Vaikuntha. Yeah. It's not that you crack the good marks, everything is over. Even if you get into some engineering college or something, there are 50 papers to be passed in 4 years of engineering. In medical science, if you join, one book is like one pillow. You can keep and go to sleep nicely. Bulky books, such bulky books. So it's a hard work. It is. Nobody likes to, work hard because we are told to study by the parents. Therefore, we go to school or college. The laborious young children are carrying heavy bags behind them. You've seen that, isn't it? So, and then after that, you have worry that, when I complete my degree, I have earned the degree, we carry the degree with us and ask, sir, can you give me a job? Sir, can you give me a job? Sir, can you give me a job? Company to company, we go. People apply for 500,000 companies nowadays. Boys are applying nowadays. And in India, 18 lakh engineers are coming out every year. I heard only 3 lakh are getting jobs, and other 5 lakh go for masters and all that. And other 5 lakh people try to go back to their village and do something. There are some of them are driving even Uber, Ola, and things like that. So employment is a very big crisis, and that causes tremendous tension to a passed out boy because of ego problem. People ask him, "Kya hua? Kya hua? You didn't get a job." And every time he hears some boys commit suicide also due to not having job. You see, it's a life of tension. No, in the same manner, you think, okay, you got a job, 5 years you're working. Do you think you'll be peaceful? If age becomes 32, 33, people ask, what happened? What happened? You're not married. You're not yet married. Marry. Then parents are seeing for a caste girl, same caste. They're not getting match. At last, when they get a proper girl, you are not happy. She's not good looking or whatever. They say, no, she's same caste, our caste. And they're very rich people. You have to marry. So sometimes you are not happy in marriage. But if you're happy in marriage, sometimes, after marriage, one doesn't have a child for 10 years. Everybody's asking, क्या हो गया? बच्चा नहीं आया. बच्चा नहीं तो चिंता. बच्चा आ गया तो दूसरा चिंता. After a child is born, sometimes the child takes the cooker whistle and puts in the mouth. Sometimes the child touches fire. Sometimes the child is touching knife. Sometimes the child is running outside the house. Small children are very difficult to tame, bring up. So when you don't have a child, one type of tension. When you have the child, another type of tension. And not that when the child grows up, you are peaceful. Many parents think my child is my creation, and he will become a hero like me. But then after the boy becomes 15, he tells her father, Papa, tum tumhara dekho, main apna dekhunga. I will see what I want to do, you do what you want. They don't care for the parent. Parents become very frustrated. Or sometimes the boy goes for drug addiction. Parents are very worried. Nowadays, girls tell the parents, why are you searching for a match for me? I have already found one. They are like, so you find this world, parents become broken-hearted. Oh, what we try to raise our children with good sanskar, see what they are doing now. And all the other relatives will tell them, तुम्हारा बात नहीं माना तुम्हारा बेटा है, तुम्हारी बेटी तुमको सुना है. So your daughter didn't listen to you. She went with another boy and ran away. So it's a lot of ego gets hurt for the parents. And when you become old, 60, 70 years, your knee is paining, back is paining, body is undergoing very multiple organ failure sometimes. So in any cross-section of your life, there are 3 miseries: Adi-atmika, Adi-daivika, Adi-bhautika. See, Corona is what? Adi-daivika, because pandemic. And it is also Adi-bhautika. Why? Because it's a creature. It's a bacteria. Correct, no? It's Adi-bhautika also it is. And it's Adi-atmika also because it goes inside and creates trouble inside our body. So it's Adi-atmika also. All 3 in 1. It's like a Trishul only. Trishul Corona. It's creating disease in the body also. It is a Jantu also. It is a big pandemic also. So now we are experiencing a triple power Corona all over the world now. Adi-atmika, Adi-bhautika, Adi-daivika. But in this way, at any cross-section of our life, there are miseries. Like if you see the, you see, I'll give you one activity. If you go here, this activity you can do leisurely when you go back. The table it is given based on what I spoke to you. You can easily do this tomorrow and come when you come. And here, this activity we will do right now. Here, 7 stages of life. You have to match this. You are seeing the table here, correct now? So you have to find out equivalent for each of this. So bedridden in old age, which is this one, this side, you have to find. After marriage, which one? So you take a moment and write down the numbers, then I'm going to release the answers for you. Okay. You have to just put the number in the brackets. You can just put the number. For each of it, you can put the number and let us see.
Hare Krishna devotees. So you can see that we have shared in the chat the online, the soft copy of the booklet. So if you go to page number 3, so near quiz 2, you will find this blue color. Click here link. If you click over it, you will be directed to a Google form So where you can submit the answers of this particular quiz. Hare Krishna.
No, don't show it now. Show the answer. Show the answer. Okay. Now I'm going to show the answers. You all can see the answers now. You see this? I'll tell you the explanation. It'll become easy for you. Check how many of the things you got it right. See, the first one is called as what? When a child is newly born, the child spills. What he spills? Stool and urine. That's what he's spilling. So that is number 6, newborn child. It spills. Okay. And then when he starts going to school, what he does, he drills. 2, 1, sa, 2, 2, 2, sa. So that's called drilling. You go to school. So that is, which number is that? School going child. Number 4. Okay. So number 4 is drills. And after that, the child starts growing up to teenage. In teenage, he's attracted to opposite sex. Taruna sakta, taruni sakta. Tarunavastha, taruni sakta. It's a boys are attracted to girl, girl is attracted to a boy. That's called thrills. He gets dreams also. He's imagining so many things. Me and that girl, we are going in a horse driven by, carriage, horse carriage, we're flying in the sky, la la la, like that. He's imagining many things. Thrills he gets. Actually, teenage is a good age for thrilled. And so after the thrills, that is number 7, teenage. You get thrills, isn't it? And then when you get married, after that, one gets all the bills, correct? No? There is a electricity bill, there is a water bill, house rent bill, all the bills come, then one comes to ground level. Whoever was flying in teenage up in the sky, now they come to ground level now. So now they have to pay the bills now. What is the number? That is number 2. 2 is after marriage is bills. Okay. And as they keep on paying bill till the age of 20, 30, 40, 50, they get extremely tired. They get ills. Ills means sickness. They get sickness. So that is number 5. Then they get old. Correct, no? And then after that, when they get very old, when they become 75, 80 or something, they write wills. Will means what do you call it? Will? They sign the will. So he writes off the property in son's name, daughter's name, like that. That's called wills. So these are called the 7 stages of life. Correct, no? Everybody goes through this. So how many of you got all the answers right? They can put any symbol in their name, against their name. If anybody got 7 out of 7, all the answers right. There is one devotee from IIT BHU. I think Surat Kumar Rao. Yeah. Oh, there are many more who got. Abhishek also got it right. Madhavendra, I think he got bits. Hyderabad also one. What is that? Datun. I'm not able to see the full name here. Ashwini got it right also. And MNIT, Rajiv got right. And Ramesh got right, yeah. So all these devotees got it right. Very good, very good. So they all got all the answers right. Yeah, Shankar. That is the GECA, Shankar. And AMUV, Satwat, I think. Satwat. AMUV. Yeah, you read the other names. Raj Shekhar, I think. He also got it right. So they all got full answers, all 7 right. Very good. So in the same manner, when you go back today, you all can do the previous activity prior to this, okay? Which I roughly gave you a clue. Based on the clue what I spoke today, you will be able to solve the activity, the long activity, which is having 13 points. The table just before this, in page number 2, okay? So tomorrow you do and come, I will show you the answers for that. Now I can take one question. We have only about 3-4 minutes. Let us take some questions. You can pop some question. I can see and answer them, please.
So this is a question from Rajiv from MNIT. So he is asking, Prabhuji is talking about spiritual happiness, but how can someone differentiate between material and spiritual happiness? Or how can an individual sense the spiritual happiness.
Yeah. And the first thing we should know is, who are you? Are you this body? Are you the soul? If somebody says, I am the body, if somebody thinks I am the body, then we can say, okay, what is the difference between your body and this table? This table is matter. Your body is also matter, made up of Panchamahabhut. Now, why is my body moving the hands, speaking, I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm willing, I have intentionality? Take an ant and a stone. Both body are made up of matter. How the ant is able to move upon from towards the stone, has intention, freedom, free will, and all that. So then you study a living body and a dead body, dead matter. Living body has three things. You can actually have perceptions. Like if you see a snake on the road, you perceive with your eyes, you see it. Then there is a mental activity. Oh, snakes bite. It could be fatal. Then there is a purposeful action. You take a stick and beat it. Similarly, if you see a gulab jamun, first there is perception. Oh, here is a gulab jamun. You are seeing it. Then the mental activity. Oh, gulab jamuns are generally very sweet. They're very delicious. Along with the floating in the liquid, it's delicious. I like it very much. That is the mental activity. Then your friend tells you, hey, come on, go ahead, eat it. Then immediately purposeful action. Take a spoon, pop under the mouth and eat it. Correct, no? So these three actions of perception, mental activity, and purposeful activity, this is only possible in a living body. Why living bodies are able to do this? Why dead? For example, if a snake crawls on our body, immediately we will get up. We will respond to that, right? On the table, if a snake is crawling over the table, snake won't do anything. I mean, the table won't do anything because dead matter doesn't respond. Living bodies respond. Why? Then we ask the question: how would living bodies are responding? Why? There is something called consciousness. Thomas Huxley said there's a third thing in the universe, which I see to be neither matter nor force. He said it is consciousness, which is there in living bodies. Then the question arises: where is this consciousness coming from? Avinashetu tad viddhi yena sarvam idam tatam, Krishna says. That consciousness is permeating all over the body, Arjuna. And the source of that consciousness is the soul, he says. Just like the sun is in one place located in the universe, but the light of the sun is permeating everywhere. Similarly, I pinch you. You feel pain. If you pinch the table, there is no pain, isn't it? But if I pinch you, you feel the pain because there is consciousness. And consciousness is permeating your whole body because the soul is present in the region of the heart. There is a driver of this body who is different from the body. Even if you analyze through science, and you will come to understanding, as scientists say that antimatter, you'll understand that there is something beyond the material elements that are assembling in this body is exactly like a CNC machine. You can say computer network control machine. But even that CNC machine requires a living person to run it. And that person has soul. So without the soul, this machine cannot run. You understand? So in this way, once you understand what is soul, then you start analyzing different type of happiness. Physical happiness, the gulab jamun eating or sex life. It's only a few minutes. It'll be gone. After that, mental happiness means like hearing a beautiful song. You like the tune very much. Goes for 3-4 months. Then you want to sing another tune now. You get bored with it. Yeah, and same intellectual happiness, you make a move in a chess, you become all India champion for how many years? Say 4-5 years. Then another champion defeats you, he becomes champion. Then our pride of being a champion may be only for a few years. Correct, no? Or you are the first person to place the flag in Mount Everest, like Hillary. You made it. And nobody else can beat that achievement because you are number one. You already done it. Anyone else will do it, they'll be second, third, fourth. So how long the happiness will last? For one lifetime. Whole life I can have the ego that I am the first one to place the flag in Mount Everest. Or I am the first one to do this or do that. But then when we die, we change the body. That time that pleasure will be gone. We will not even remember that I was like this before. So the pleasures are of increasing nature, but the spiritual pleasure means it can go with the soul. And it is a natural pleasure in the soul, which is everlasting. Ramante yogino anante satyananda chidatmani iti ramapade naso parabrahma vidhiyate. That's a verse like this. It says, Ramante yoginaha anante, it says. Anante means unending happiness. Whereas in the material world, gulab jamun happiness is ending happiness. It is said, if you want to be happy for few hours, then take a nap, it is said. If you want to have happiness for a day, he said, then take a holiday. If you want to be happiness for a month, then get married, says. And if you want to be, happy for a, few years, like that, there's a Chinese proverb, it says. And then he says, if you really want to be happy forever, then you become a selfless devotee of God. Then that spiritual happiness is everlasting. It'll be there forever. So therefore, yogis are not people who run away from happiness. They run towards the ultimate happiness. And the everlasting happiness called Satyananda, not Mithyananda. Like in the beginning of the class, I told you example of the mango, real mango, and the artificial, the reflection mango. All the world is looking at the mango in the water. They are diving into water, not getting mango. They're suffering. But the yogis who are true yogis in devotion, they are looking up at the real mango. That is the target. And they will achieve true happiness by that. And we will know more as we proceed in this session. It will become clear to you. We are just making a beginning of this seminar today. Tomorrow and day after, this booklet will be completed. And you all will be given one interesting drawing task also, which I will tell you tomorrow after the session. Tomorrow day after, I'll be telling you that. Okay. So we had a beginning and it was a good question. Thank you for your question. And I'll be taking more questions tomorrow also. And tomorrow we have 1.5 hour session. Today was only 1 hour. And tomorrow is 4:30 to 6. I'll be coming again and we'll continue this. And whatever we spoke today, think about it. In summary, just 2-3 points I'll make and conclude the talk now. In the beginning, I told you that whole world is chasing after only one thing, happiness. You marry for happiness, you study for becoming happy, you earn money for becoming happy. Everybody wants only happiness. But somehow the happiness is escaping from us. That's the first thing. Second thing, we said when we are facing sufferings, people just give the excuses to say that, different things. Some people say, why am I, who said I'm suffering? Some people are saying that suffering should be a part of life. All bluffing people. Actually, nobody wants suffering. Everybody wants happiness, unlimited happiness. That was one point we discussed elaborately. And then we were also saying that we want unlimited happiness and we want zero suffering. But still we see that happiness is shrunk and the sufferings are increased in this world. You get what you don't want and you don't get what you want. That is called suffering or misery, we call it. And why is that so? And then we said there is birth, old age, this is death. But that's not all. From womb to tomb, and every cross-section there is Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidevika. Now, in the next class, when you all come, you are going to learn the secret. Why in this world suffering is there? Who is causing that suffering? And what is the method of rising above the sufferings? So these things you are going to learn in the next class. And we did the 7 stages of life, spills, thrills, thrills and all that. We did that. And tomorrow when you come, you will complete the other page number 2 activity and come. And then I will show you the answers and then we will proceed further with this notes. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let's all thank His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu for taking out time for all of us and giving his wonderful association. So let's thank His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. And tomorrow also we'll have continuation of this session. So tomorrow the timing for the session, as Prabhuji told, it would be from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. And tomorrow we'll also announce about many competitions which are going to happen. So like there is a Arjuna Award, there is Yudhishthira Award, and there is Haridas Thakur Award. So what are all these awards and what do they stand for? So for all of this, so let's get connected again and let's get to know about them tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you.